right, here's number 5 of my 6 in advice since I've been around the block a few times. I know we talk about culture a lot in the business community, and made famous by Peter Drucker, culture eats strategy for lunch. It's kind of funny, but culture is everything. But I think sometimes we get numb to what it really means. So think for a moment that your business, no matter how small or large, is an ecosystem. It is an ecosystem of people with feelings and thoughts and heart and spirit. And they're mulling around all day long, bumping against each other and influencing each other for good or maybe not so good. And so sometimes in cultures that are positive or companies that are positive, or let me frame it this way, companies that have mature employees, or what we call decent emotional intelligence, they kind of set their own boundaries by how they interact, and culture is created usually by default, meaning the way people act is the way it's going to be. And with folks with mature cultures and mature people, hey, that works out great. But in many cases, particularly at the beginning of a company, culture has to be intentional, not by default. It has to be defined, and it's best defined by the values of the leadership team. And that means I'm the leader, this is the kind of business that I want, and by the way, my values are going to draw a boundary, meaning I don't want people to behave differently than what I'm expecting. And if they do, there will be a consequence for that. So remember too, that behavior without meaningful consequences will continue. So when you're thinking about culture, think of your company not as an organization, but think of it as an ecosystem. Think of it as a social community. It's a group of people who come to do work and they enjoy what they do. And hopefully everybody on the team is going to have healthy behaviors, or what I call profitable behaviors, so that you can execute the business strategy with them while they enjoy what they do. That's a framework of a really good culture. Here's the thing, you want to protect that culture like it's your life. The one thing you don't want to have are toxic employees, things that pollute the ecosystem, because every little thing that pollutes your ecosystem could turn into a human bottleneck that can stall strategy, undermine your profits, and very important, also cause you to lose valuable talent. When you're thinking about your culture, think about this. The really talented people, they don't tolerate a bad culture. They know where to go because they know they can always get a job someplace else. So you want to protect your talent by having a place where people can come, where they can enjoy working together while they do great work. You know what's crazy? We spend more of our time with our colleagues than we do with our families in many cases. Life is too short to work at a bad company. Life is too short to work with toxic employees or a dysfunctional manager. And to me, that's kind of like torturous or cruel. We as leaders and managers can and have the power and obligation to create such a great work environment that people will want to come. You know, I always say, be the reason they stay, not the reason that they leave. And that's what great leadership is about, creating that atmosphere and having boundaries of what is acceptable and what is not. Remember, great insight into human behavior. We train people how to treat each other, and we train people how to treat you. You know, if you don't like the way you're being treated, if you don't like the way team members are treating each other, you have to do something about it. It's not going to go away. I know you wish it would, but it's not. So we've got to own it, take responsibility for it, and be very clear. What do I want this company to be like? What will or will I not tolerate? And then act. You know, tolerations are interesting in leadership. Sometimes some leaders will, get really annoyed at what's going on in the organization. And you know what? It's because they're tolerating it. You know, the very things that you may or may not like may be the very things that you're tolerating, that you may be afraid to address, or that you just hope it's going to go away. All right, leadership insight. Hope is not a strategy. Really, it's about being an assertive, clear, directive leader. And for those who need leadership, you'll need to assert yourself. There's some that will self-manage, and there's some that won't. those human behavior insights are going to be very important for you as you grow a thriving, healthy, positive business and a thriving, healthy, positive business culture.
If you found this clip useful, please remember to like and subscribe for more. You can also visit us at multifamilystudios.com to view full episodes of our latest and greatest shows and interviews.